All right, we're coming in with the check-in. Sponsored, actually not sponsored, but these guys haven't made their promotion payment yet, so we'll just set that aside. But no, we're coming in with Kasey Christensen. Kasey's one of the agents here at Park Place, and definitely love being in business with her, and just wanted to check in with her and see how things are going. We consider Kasey an OG. If you don't know, that means an original good person.
Oh, wow. Have you ever told me that before?
I think that's the first time. Now you know it's
so
on camera.
happy
We
it's
can
on
notate it.
camera. Oh
Yeah. We can
I
notate
can't
it.
believe it right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. So Kasey, let everybody know. Let me ask you this question: why did you get into real estate?
I got into real estate on a whim and figured out very quickly at 23 years old that I really loved it and wanted to do it for as long as possible.
Okay.
I love the education aspect. I love helping people set themselves up for generational wealth. It's honestly the best career that I could have thought of.
Now, Kasey, like I know part of your business is huge on referrals, right? So like I know you're all about the client experience. You want to make sure your clients have the best experience possible. Tell us a little bit about like when did that click? Like when did you start making your business about taking care of your clients beyond the sale?
Pretty much that first year in the business. I figured out that following up with people, making sure that they were happy in their homes, making sure that their questions were answered, was really important for me to get, their friends, their family, their coworkers to work with me.
Yeah, you wanted to be their trusted advisor. I know there's been some clients of yours that you've helped, buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. And what's cool about that is like every single time they sold, they've always left profitable with a check. And when people hear the word generational wealth, like what does that mean, right? What does generational wealth mean to you?
Generational wealth for me is, leaving something to future generations for them to either take over and become landlords themselves, or know that they have this nice little wealth nest that's been built for them and they can continue to grow it because their parents, grandparents, whomever
Made a smart decision.
made smart decisions. Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. Real estate, it's a tool, right? It's a tool that can be used to ultimately live a more comfortable life, right? And even though I always say, even though there's tenants, the goal of a tenant should eventually be a homeowner. And I always say, being a tenant is like a practice run at homeownership, right? You get to feel the space, but you get to quickly realize where you want to live, right? Let me ask you, with your experience working with first-time home buyers, like, what's one of the things you wish they knew right at the gate when they met with you? Like, what's one thing that you wish you could convey that seems to be the most common, like, hold up for somebody?
It's easier to make that adjustment from tenant to homeowner than you may think. It's scary as all heck while it's happening, but actually making that adjustment seems to be such an easy transition for people, and they truly never look back.
Okay. And what I would ask you as well is like throughout your career so far, as you're growing your business and treating this like a business and serving, clients at a high level, if you were to go back in time and give yourself some advice, right? Because let's face it, when you started, you can't tell me you had this business dialed in. Like, how did you? Well, let's take a step back. How did you develop to be who the agent you are today? Like, what did you have to put in place? What mindset did you have to build? When did you really see like, hey, I could actually like earn a living doing this? Like, outside of just, the income, like the gratification of handing over keys and just seeing that, because you're part of the family when you're part of a transaction. Like, how did you build to where you're at today?
I think that I started with my systems. Absolutely, like checking in with clients, making sure that I wasn't just their realtor through the 30 to 60 day transaction. I'm their realtor for life. They come to me with questions on what updates they should do, if they should get solar.
That's a big one right now, solar too. Yeah.
If they should keep their property or sell it and move up, if they should become landlords.
Yeah.
My clients come to me with all those kinds of questions.
So you are their like concierge. You are their consultant for all things real estate. Now, if you were to go back in time, right? There's a lot of stuff we would do differently, right? But if you were to go back in time, what advice would you give your starting out self, I would say?
My starting out self,
Yeah,
which
because we're not going to say younger, because people get offended very easily when we use the word younger, right? But I would say, yeah, early on in your career, what advice would you give yourself, what you know today?
I would advise myself to have work-life balance.
Okay.
Um, know my priorities,
Mm-hmm.
know my boundaries, because as someone who takes the transactions very seriously, takes my clients, everything that happens to them very close to heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's important. It's what makes me a good realtor, but I also need to know how to refuel.
Okay.
So I think over the years, I've figured out my hobbies and my priorities,
Yeah.
and I do allow time in my schedule to enjoy those.
Now, you said something pretty crazy, or not crazy, but interesting, or actually that we need to highlight. You said, you know, what I understood you say part of the refueling and being in the transaction with them is it is very personal. When you're in escrow with a client and there's something that comes up, right? A seller request or a seller repair that or a buyer's request a repair that a seller may have denied. You're like, what do you mean you're going to deny it? You can't help but get emotional in the transaction, but you got to use your emotional intelligence to keep everybody calm and collective to keep the deal together. But I find myself getting a little spicy sometimes because you want your client to win, you want them to be in a good position, but importantly, you're not trying to take advantage of a seller. You're just trying to make you know, the bare, I would say, I wouldn't sell it at the bare minimum, but the fair deal happen, right? Not getting too involved, not going fist to cuffs with the other agent, remembering that you're in it together, right?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because in all of my emails when
Yeah.
I'm submitting offers, I typically close out by saying, I want this to be a win-win for all
Yeah.
parties.
Yeah.
And that's true.
Yeah.
I think that buying and selling a home is not necessarily one party against the other. It's
Yeah.
how can we make this a win for both the buyers and the sellers,
Yeah. Help
and
them
get to
both
the finish
accomplish it.
line
Yeah.
as easily
Amicably
and
as
amicably
possible.
as possible.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I would say that, I think real estate over the years with the TV shows and all the flares and, theatrics that go behind it, people always think that somebody has to lose in order for them to win. But, at the end of the day, it's like, in my opinion, with homeowners, there is a thing called, I wouldn't say neglected, but almost like repairs that went noticed but unnoticed, right? That have to be taken care of. And sometimes when it goes to sell, people forget, oh, yeah, I was supposed to take care of that leak, or, oh, I forgot in the attic that was the situation. And then it comes up when you want to sell, and then all of a sudden, that's the negotiation time. But in my opinion, it's like, hey, you should have maintained those things, right, prior to selling. But hey, that's a different subject. The next thing you mentioned was work-life balance. Now, I know you do, Kasey's crazy. So she does boxing. She rides a motorcycle. She still has time for yoga. I think she'll even do jiu-jitsu. I mean, overall, she's out there camping, glamping, going to music festivals, doing her thing, and spending time with her nieces. I mean, the family. Break this down. How do you reward yourself to refuel? Like, break that work-life balance down. Because some people might look at your Instagram and be like, oh my gosh, she's always, closing escrows, but she's always out of town or, on a hike or doing things. Like, how do you manage it all?
It didn't come easily. It was definitely trial and error over time. But I realized that having my checklist, my daily checklist, my weekly checklist, and my monthly checklist, and making sure that I'm checking in with people, prospecting, checking in with past clients, and all of these things that are necessary to keep my business going, as well as checking in on transactions. When I prioritize those things that matter in my business and I set aside time for them, it allows me to also set aside time for the things that I enjoy besides real estate.
Yeah, in order for you to be your best at what you do, you have to feel your best. In order to feel your best, you must do the things that make you feel good, right? So that's amazing. Yes, because it's been a while. It's been a while since I've been on two wheels riding, and I'm like, dang, Kasey she gets up and goes. But the good thing is that you handle your business, right? You dedicate the proper time to be able to do that and execute. Let me ask you. I've also saw your videos, your Instagram videos, your reels. Educating, having fun. I think that's the past career of yours, being a teacher, and be able to teach and educate. What would be some of the things I would tell you? Like, if we were to go back now to a buyer, a homeowner, or a buyer who may be on the hook, right? Or not on the hook, forgive me, on the fence. Is that the proper word to put it? Or somebody that's hesitant about buying, somebody that maybe listened to the media and things of that nature, what advice would you give them right now?
I would tell them that the process of buying a home, getting pre-approved, going through the inspection, you know, rigmarole, all that fun kind of stuff is terrifying. Every bit of it is terrifying.
Yeah.
But every client that I have helped into a home has loved their home, has loved being a homeowner, and it's put them in a better position in life, financially, stability wise.
Yeah, because you get this thing called tax breaks, homeowners insurance, car insurance discounts, credit score improvement, better interest rates on credit cards and vehicles.
Well,
I mean,
and you're
like,
not
it opens up
worried
like a
about-
secret little club.
Yeah, and you're not worried that your rent is going to go up next year. I mean, you have that set mortgage
Yeah.
that you know will always be.
And you're
what it
invested
is.
in yourself. You know, it's funny. You know how you said it was terrifying. I was talking to somebody today earlier, and they mentioned to me that they applied for an apartment, and the apartment wants almost exact same documents that a mortgage professional would need, right? Pay stubs, bank statements, tax returns, and the application, right, to be able to qualify. But they also wanted 3 references, and I was like, oh wow, mortgage companies don't ask for that. So it's like to rent, in my opinion, when you have to offer more, it's more work, and the
Yeah,
reward
especially
is not the
considering
same.
first month, last month.
Yeah, first month's,
deposit.
last month's deposit is actually higher than any closing cost to buy a home or down payment.
Yeah.
Since that's combined. And right now, I know some sellers are offering some assistance, and lenders are offering discount rate buy downs. I mean, there's a lot of advantages for buyers. But let me ask you this: coming from the background and the mentorships that you've done in the past and helped a lot of agents here and helped develop careers all around you, and being part of YPN, which is Young Professional Network, with CAR, and sitting on certain boards that you've sat on. If somebody was thinking about getting into the business, what advice would you give them? Straight up, non-negotiable. Like, if you basically, what hardcore advice would you say that they should follow, or they should not get in the industry? Like, what would you say is that one thing they need to do, or they got to sit aside? What would it be?
Know your contracts.
Know who you're. Yeah, you're dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars of purchasing power with some people. This is the biggest purchase that a lot of people are going to make in their lifetime. And
It gives you every advantage as an agent to know your contracts, to understand how you can adjust terms. And I think that the one thing that I see the most in the industry is a lack of understanding with the contracts.
okay, I like that. So
And
no,
it's-
so if you think about becoming a real estate agent and you pass the test and then you become a realtor, right? Know your contracts. That's what's up. Now, what's a fun fact about you that everybody should know?
A fun fact about me. Gosh, I don't know. I'm a dog mom, like loud and proud.
Nice.
So, love. My boys are Buddy and Cooper. They're the sweetest little pit bull mixes, and they are my pride and joy.
Nice. I love it. I love it. That's what's up. Well, Kasey, thank you so much for checking in. You know, just the whole purpose of these check-ins is just so you can get to know the other agent on the other side and get a feel for who they are as a human, and most importantly, like a little bit about what they do and why they love what they do. So be on the tune for the next one.